Hi, my name is Maxwell Harvey-Sampson. My last name is hyphenated, Harvey-Sampson. And my full name is Maxwell James Harvey-Sampson. You can find me on any social media through that name. It's just without the hyphen, Maxwell Harvey-Sampson. Or Google me with the hyphen, Maxwell Harvey-Sampson. We're talking about my image Surrender today. And here is a working draft of the image I have on my laser printer. I'm gonna briefly discuss and introduce my practice as a photographer, and then move on to the genesis of the image, and then onto sort of what it currently means to me. I've been practicing photography very seriously since I was 19. I'm 28, so I guess we're at 8 years now. And so in that practice, I've been using digital full frame cameras, and I've amassed in a social documentary way 200,000 images. So I'm currently transitioning out of digital photography and into large format film photography. I just acquired an Intrepid 8x10 view camera like several days ago, and so I've been shooting with that, and I'm really excited. I'm also a video and multimedia artist. I'm interested in installation and projection and printed objects and bookmaking, and kind of a lot of things, but I'm going to say, as far as what you're going to see online, it's mostly going to be photography and video. There's a little bit of video out there. So I've in amassing 200,000 images and keeping that organized on hard drives over the last 8 years, my desire to transition into 8x10 and view camera work is that I'm learning the value and importance of an extended period of photographing and resulting several images versus taking 300 digital images and then from that practice resulting in several 10 or 30. So that's that. Let's start talking about the image in the show. It's called Surrender. Here it is again. I'm going to try and illustrate a number of ideas to sort of give you guys more of like a mood board as far as what that image is and how it was made and what it means. In September of last year, I moved into the first apartment I've lived in by myself. And it's subsidized housing for artists. I live in Rochester, New York. Home to Eastman Kodak and sort of the Kodak legacy. And so I got this really awesome deal on subsidized housing for artists. You apply as an artist. It's really affordable. But I think in regards to the image, the most important feature is that I'm living alone for the first time. And so without dramatics, I've been struggling with manic depression and bipolar disorder for most of my life, and likely all of my life in some way. I started seeking treatment when I was 12 and then got the diagnosis of bipolar or manic depressive when I was 16 after an extended stay in a psychiatric hospital in rural Pennsylvania. In that search for answers as far as healing whatever caused that or whatever was responsible for the genesis of that diagnosis, have found a lot of answers in Eastern healing practices. Eastern is very general, obviously. Specifically, I'm talking about meditation and acupuncture and studies of Buddhism. And so now I'll put a pin in that. So living with people my whole life, I've really kind of felt this pressure to like behave normally, like a certain way. And I don't really, I feel like at 27, I'm sort of realizing that I don't typically in a comfortable way, behave as other people do. And so living alone, I can kind of let my freak flag fly without anyone's judgment but my own, and hopefully in that also strip any judgment I may have for myself. So in this apartment, I have these beautiful bay windows. They're really huge. They're probably like 10, 12 feet tall. And this sort of that glowing you're seeing behind myself is it's the light coming in from the window, and it was a cloudy day. So in that series of images that I was taking using my Sony and my phone as a remote, which gives a live display, in those series of images, you can see that sometimes the light coming in from the window is really sharp and has it's like a rectangle, and it looks like light coming in from a window. But then as the clouds were moving by and quite rapidly, the light would change and become very diffuse. And so pretty much every night, alone in my apartment, I would get these beautiful light patterns on my wall, and I'd see as the sun set them change in my apartment and move around my apartment. And so I always felt moved to inspiration and began photographing often when I'd see the light and become really inspired. I'm going to check my time really quick. We're at 7 minutes. All right, let's hurry it up. So alone in my apartment, or living alone for the first time, beautiful light at sunset. And then to link back to my practice of Buddhism or meditation or Eastern body healing practices, one of the features of that is that if there is darkness, you seek it out and you allow it into your body to experience it, and give it a home there. And then in the last year living alone, I've adopted practices where I could feel the darkness coming or approaching. And then so in that, I began setting intentions through my body language. And so if I felt it approaching, I wanted to communicate with it, and in a physical way, state that it's okay to become to live in my body, for me to experience it with an awareness. So in that, I often do like this motion, sort of like open up, and then the surrender motion, which is hands up. And we can sort of talk about that motion and what that means in a larger societal or cultural context in another conversation. But that's how that came about. And it's interesting, I wasn't super aware of that consciously, that I was doing that for a spiritual or a healing way, until much more recently when I got into the Cleveland Print Room show. I was doing it in a performative method for the camera, and for my images, but now I've recently been like, I sense that darkness approaching. I want it to know that it's okay to come in so I can see it, and then hopefully turn the light on. We're almost out of time. I'd like to thank the Cleveland Print Room for the beautiful show I've been included in, and for you guys organizing that. And then also, of course, the jury, Alyssa Rivera and Rudy Roy. I'm a huge fan of both of your bodies of work. And I'm constantly inspired by the things that you guys are doing. I think I'm covering everything. I got like 8 seconds left. Thank you for tuning in. I'm in Rochester. Swing by if you're around. Thank you.